Let me ask you something simple. Did you wake up today feeling tired, even though you slept through the night? Did your legs feel heavy, your mind a little foggy, and your motivation nowhere to be found? And did a small voice inside whisper, maybe this is just what getting older feels like? If it did, I want to challenge that voice today. Because after working with thousands of men over 60, I can tell you this with complete certainty. It's not your age that's draining your energy. It's your breakfast. Or your lack of one. Or the wrong one. Or the years of missing the exact foods your body still knows how to use. And today, I want to show you how to change that. Not with supplements, not with stimulants, but with 3 powerful foods that can bring back your circulation, your energy, and yes, your vitality. This isn't about eating less. It's about eating smarter and giving your body the message it's been waiting for. Because what I've learned is simple: you're not broken. You're just undernourished. Let's fix that together. There's something I see every week, and maybe you've lived it too. A man walks into my office. Late 60s, maybe early 70s. Still sharp. Still proud. But something behind his eyes has dulled. He says things like, "I'm just not myself anymore," or "I'm not in pain. I just don't feel right." He's not complaining. Men rarely do. But his body has been trying to speak to him, and he's only now starting to listen. What are the signs? You wake up tired, even after 8 hours of sleep. Your legs feel heavier, stairs feel steeper, and you lean more than you used to. You snap more easily. Or feel flat, not sad, just distant. And maybe you've noticed that certain functions aren't as dependable as they once were, especially in the bedroom. Most men chalk this up to age. But here's what I tell them, and what I want to tell you now: these aren't signs of aging. They're signs of undernourishment. Of poor circulation. Of low-grade inflammation. Of hormone imbalance that no one ever warned you about. And they don't get better with time, but they do get better with the right food, at the right time. Because your body hasn't given up on you. It's just been quietly asking for help. And in just a moment, I'll show you exactly how to answer that call with food your body will recognize and respond to. But first, let me introduce myself properly. So you know why this message and this mission matters to me. If this is your first time with me, let me take a moment to say, you're not alone. And you're exactly where you need to be. I'm Dr. Catherine Rocker. For over 30 years, I've walked alongside men in their 60s, 70s, even into their 80s, men who once believed that low energy, weak circulation, and fading intimacy were just the price of aging. But I'm here to tell you they're not. I didn't get into this work because I love nutrition charts or fancy supplements. I got into it because of men like James, a 72-year-old retired coach who told me, "I still love life, Doc, I just don't feel like I'm in it anymore." His words stayed with me, not because they were dramatic, but because they were true for so many men who quietly drift from power to passivity, from purpose to just passing time. And I knew there had to be more than prescriptions and hormone patches. What I found, and what I'll share with you today, is that the male body doesn't stop working after 60. It just stops getting what it needs. The right food. At the right time. In the right form. Your body is still capable of repair. Of circulation. Of energy. Of presence. And yes, of pleasure. This video exists for one reason: to help you remember what your body still knows how to do. And to show you that the most powerful tools have been in your kitchen, not your medicine cabinet, this whole time. So if you're ready, let's begin where it all starts: circulation. Because without blood flow, nothing, not your mind, your muscles, or your manhood, works the way it should. Here's something most men were never told, and it changes everything. After 60, your body stops responding to food the same way it used to. But it also starts needing food more than ever as medicine. Let me explain. As you age, 3 things begin to shift quietly inside you. Blood vessels begin to stiffen. The highways that once carried oxygen-rich blood to your heart, brain, and groin become narrower and less flexible. That means slower circulation, colder hands and feet, and yes, weaker erections. Nitric oxide production declines. Nitric oxide is your body's natural, open sesame, molecule. It tells your arteries to relax and let blood through. But after 60, your body makes less of it unless you feed it the right building blocks. Testosterone starts to drop not just from age, but from chronic stress and missing nutrients. Your body can still make testosterone. It just needs support. And guess what gives that support? Not pills. Food. But not just any food. You need foods that increase nitric oxide, that reduce inflammation, that calm cortisol, that nourish your mitochondria, the tiny engines in every cell that create energy. Without these, your body doesn't run. It drifts. It slows. And slowly, the man you were begins to fade into someone you don't quite recognize anymore. That's why food after 60 isn't just fuel. It's instruction. It tells your cells what to do. It tells your blood vessels to soften. It tells your hormones to rise. It tells your muscles to wake up. And the good news? You don't need a dozen ingredients. You just need the right ones at the right time. And that's exactly what we're going to explore next. Let's begin with the first category, foods that improve circulation, because without blood flow, nothing else works. If there's one system that holds everything else together, your energy, your clarity, your drive, it's your circulation. When blood flows, life flows. But when it slows, you feel it in your legs, in your chest, and especially in your confidence. Let me tell you about Carl. Carl was 70. He came to my office with strong shoulders, sharp humor, but something in him had gone quiet. He leaned in and said, "Doc, I'm walking slower. But worse, things down there. They're just not responding anymore." He thought it was just aging. But his blood pressure was creeping up. His feet were cold. And the problem wasn't his hormones, it was his arteries. You see, blood vessels after 60 tend to stiffen. They lose the ability to dilate, to respond, to deliver. And without good blood flow, your brain fogs, your muscles ache, and intimacy becomes frustrating instead of fulfilling. So I asked Carl one question. "What's your breakfast look like?" He said, "Coffee, maybe toast, that's it." And that's where we started the repair. I gave him 3 simple foods, all proven to support blood flow in men over 60, and within 10 days, he felt the shift. Let me show you what I gave him. Checkmark 1. Pomegranate juice, nature's nitric oxide booster. Packed with polyphenols like punicalagin, boosts nitric oxide. Right pointing arrow relaxes and opens blood vessels. How to use: 6 ounces of pure, unsweetened pomegranate juice first thing in the morning. Carl thought it was just juice. But 2 weeks in, he said, "Doc, I think I'm waking up younger." My wife noticed, too. Checkmark 2. Beets, the deep red root for deep blood flow. Rich in dietary nitrates. Right pointing arrow converted into nitric oxide in the body supports healthy blood pressure, sharper focus, and better stamina. How to use: add roasted beets to lunch salad, or blend into a smoothie 3x per week. Beets don't just improve blood flow, they support the oxygen your muscles and brain crave after 60. Checkmark 3. Dark leafy greens, artery cleansing machines. Spinach, arugula, kale, high in magnesium, potassium, and nitric oxide precursors, help reduce arterial stiffness and lower silent inflammation. How to use: add a handful of spinach or arugula to eggs or smoothies daily. These greens may look humble, but to your arteries, they're like a morning massage. Carl followed this plan: 6 ounces pomegranate juice each morning, beets with lunch twice a week, and greens with eggs. That's it. No medication changes. No supplements. Just food at the right time, in the right form. 3 weeks later, he told me something I'll never forget. "I don't just feel better, I feel capable again." That's what happens when blood starts flowing again. And now, it's your turn. Up next, we'll look at the second group of foods, the ones that restore your masculine strength from the inside out. Because once circulation returns, your hormones are ready to rise with it. Let's keep going. Once blood starts flowing again, your body begins to ask the next question. Can I feel like a man again? Not just in the bedroom, but in the way you stand, the way you move through your day, the quiet steadiness behind your decisions. That strength, that clarity, that grounded energy, it all begins with one key hormone, testosterone. Now, here's what most men get wrong. Low testosterone after 60 isn't always about age. Often, it's about stress, inflammation, and missing nutrients. Your body still can make testosterone, but only if you feed the system behind it. That's what we did for Miguel. Miguel was 66. A retired truck driver. Tough hands, soft heart. He told me, "Doc, I'm not depressed. But I've lost my drive for everything." He had the labs to prove it. Low testosterone, high cortisol, shallow sleep. I told him, before we even consider supplements, let's give your body the raw materials it needs through food. Here's where we started. Checkmark 1. Avocados, the foundation of male hormone repair. Rich in monounsaturated fats, right-pointing arrow building blocks of testosterone, contain B6 and magnesium, right-pointing arrow lower cortisol. Reduce inflammation. How to use. 1/2 avocado per day with eggs, toast, or olive oil within 1 week. Miguel said, "I feel clearer. Like I'm walking through my day instead of dragging through it." Checkmark 2. Eggs, testosterone's morning trigger. Whole eggs, especially the yolk, contain vitamin D, cholesterol, and choline, support hormone production and rebuild muscle tissue overnight. How to use. 2 soft-boiled or poached eggs for breakfast or before bed. This isn't just food, it's hormonal architecture. Checkmark 3. Pumpkin seeds, the mineral powerhouse for men. Packed with zinc, essential for testosterone, prostate, and sexual health. Also contain magnesium and tryptophan for sleep and recovery. How to use. 1 to 2 tablespoons raw, before bed or sprinkled on meals. I told Miguel, don't underestimate seeds. They carry more than crunch, they carry instructions. He followed it. 1/2 avocado at breakfast. Eggs most mornings. Pumpkin seeds before bed. No pressure, no rush. And within 3 weeks, he came into my office standing taller, smiling easier. He said, "Doc, it's back. Not just that, I'm back." That's what happens when your hormones feel safe again. They start working with you, not against you. And the best part? No injections, no side effects. Just your body remembering how to be a man with the right food. Now that blood is flowing and your strength is waking up, there's one more piece to restore: energy. Not just for one moment, but for every hour of your day. That's what we'll talk about next. Let's go there together. Now that blood is flowing and your hormones are waking up, let me ask you something simple. What good is power, if you don't have the energy to use it? I see it all the time. A man regains circulation, his testosterone improves, but by 10 a.m., he's yawning. By 2 p.m., he's flat. By evening, he's already checked out. That's not laziness. That's cellular exhaustion. Because energy, real, steady energy, doesn't come from coffee or sugar. It comes from how your cells make fuel. And after 60, those cells don't fire the way they used to. They need help. Not stimulation, but support. Let me tell you about Richard. Richard was 69. Retired high school teacher. He said, "Doc, I'm sleeping well, but I still feel like my engine's cold all day." His labs looked fine. His testosterone was holding. Circulation was decent. But he was missing something deeper: mitochondrial fuel. So I gave him 3 foods. Nothing fancy. Just quiet allies his cells could understand. Checkmark 1. Bananas, the steady morning spark. Rich in potassium, right-pointing arrow supports blood pressure, muscle contraction, contain vitamin B6 and tryptophan, right-pointing arrow boosts serotonin. Reduce fatigue, provide natural sugars, right pointing arrow, sustained cellular fuel. How to use. 1 banana with breakfast, paired with nut butter or eggs. Richard said, it's basic. But somehow, I don't crash anymore. Checkmark 2. Oats with chia seeds, the slow-burning power combo. Oats provide beta-glucan fiber, right pointing arrow, stabilizes blood sugar. Chia seeds add omega-3s, magnesium, and protein together. They reduce energy dips and improve brain focus. How to use. Warm bowl in the morning with cinnamon and berries. This isn't just breakfast. It's energy in reserve. Checkmark 3. Greek yogurt, nighttime recovery fuel. High in casein and whey, right pointing arrow, proteins that repair muscle overnight, rich in calcium and B vitamins. Right pointing arrow support metabolism and nerve strength. How to use. 1 small bowl an hour before bed, with a spoon of honey or chia. When Richard added yogurt before bed, he stopped waking up groggy. He said, "Doc, I didn't know sleep could charge me. These foods don't spike your system. They steady it. They speak to your cells gently but clearly. We've got what you need. You're safe to work again, and when your body feels safe, your energy doesn't just return. It lasts." That's the difference between surviving the day and moving through it with presence, clarity, and quiet strength. Circulation. Hormones. Energy. They work together. And now that you've met the core foods for each, it's time to learn how to combine them into one powerful, practical daily plan. Up next, the routine I call the morning and evening plate. Simple, flexible, and life-changing when done right. Let's build it together. Now that you know which foods support your blood flow, your hormones, and your energy, let's bring them together into something simple, something you can live with. Because knowing what to eat is only part of the story. Knowing when and how to eat it is what turns food into fuel. That's why I created what I call the morning and evening plate. No measuring. No strict rules. Just a rhythm that aligns with how your body wants to heal. Let's start with the morning. Sun face the morning plate. Wake up and rebuild. The first 60 minutes after you wake up are the most important window of your day. Why? Because that's when your body is most responsive to circulation signals, hormone support, and energy fuel. Here's what your morning could look like. Checkmark 6 ounces pure pomegranate juice. Open the arteries. Checkmark 1/2 avocado. Support testosterone and calm stress. Checkmark 1 banana. Feed your cells steady energy. Checkmark. Optional, a boiled egg or a spoon of peanut butter, protein to anchor it all. It's simple, it's fast. And it sends your body one powerful message: we're rebuilding. Richard called this his morning comeback ritual. He said, "It makes me feel like I'm showing up for myself." Crescent moon. The evening plate. Rest, repair, and rebalance. Most men don't realize this. But what you eat before bed can decide how well you sleep and how strong you feel in the morning. That's where the evening plate comes in. Checkmark 2 soft-boiled eggs, slow digesting protein for overnight repair. Checkmark a handful of steamed spinach or greens. Magnesium for muscle relaxation. Checkmark 1 tablespoon pumpkin seeds. Zinc and tryptophan for hormones and sleep. Checkmark. Optional, a small bowl of Greek yogurt with cinnamon. Gentle recovery boost. This is not a heavy meal. It's a quiet signal to your nervous system: you're safe. You can rest. I've got you. Miguel, who you met earlier, told me, "I used to go to bed running on fumes. Now, I go to sleep recharging." The morning and evening plate isn't a diet. It's a return to rhythm. It's about giving your body what it needs when it needs it most. And when you do this day after day, you start to notice. You wake up clearer. You move with more steadiness. You feel more present in your own body. This is what real vitality looks like. Not a burst. Not a trick. But a quiet, steady comeback powered by food. Now, let's make sure you don't undo that progress by falling into the traps that so many men face. Up next, the most common mistakes that silently block your recovery and how to avoid them. Nung sai lam am tham lam cham kwa trin hoi phuk kua ban. Now that we've built a simple, powerful routine to support your circulation, hormones, and energy, let's talk about the things that can quietly undo all that progress. Not out of laziness. Not because you're doing anything wrong. But because no one ever told you what to avoid. These are the most common mistakes I see in men who are truly trying but still feel stuck. Let's walk through them together. Crossmark mistake number 1. Skipping breakfast. You wake up, drink coffee, and wait to feel hungry. But here's what happens, your cortisol stays elevated. Your blood vessels stay tight. Your body gets the message, we're in stress. We're not ready to rebuild. Even a small, intentional breakfast like a banana and half an avocado can shift your entire morning biology. Crossmark mistake number 2. Using sugary, health foods. You think you're choosing well store-bought juices, low-fat yogurts, cereal bars. But many of them are packed with added sugar, preservatives, and zero nourishment. Look for words like unsweetened, cold-pressed, whole, no added sugars. Nature doesn't need flavoring. It is the flavor. Crossmark mistake number 3. Eating the right food at the wrong time. A bowl of oats at 9 p.m. A banana at midnight. Heavy red meat right before bed. It's not just what you eat, but when you eat it, that tells your hormones and blood vessels how to behave. Morning is for circulation and fuel. Evening is for calm and repair. Crossmark mistake number 4. Giving up too early. You try the plan for 3 days. You don't feel like a superhero yet. And you quit. But here's what I've seen, 7 days in right pointing arrow your mornings feel lighter, 14 days in right pointing arrow your energy doesn't crash at 2 p.m., 21 days in right pointing arrow your mood, your sleep, your presence all begin to shift, 30 days in right pointing arrow you look in the mirror and feel proud again. Don't rob yourself of that day. Miguel almost gave up on day 5. But on day 9, he woke up and said, something's different. I feel available again. That's not magic. That's biology catching up with your commitment. So take a breath. Be gentle with yourself. Stay the course. Because now, I'm going to show you the one thing you can do tomorrow morning to start or restart this journey. Just one change. 5 minutes. Big impact. Let's take that step together. You don't have to change everything. Not all at once. Not perfectly. All I'm asking is that tomorrow morning, you make one new choice. Just one. Not because you're chasing youth, but because you're choosing life. Here's what I want you to do. When you wake up, before the emails, before the news, before the coffee kicks in, go to your kitchen. Pour yourself 6 ounces of pure pomegranate juice, cold or room temp. No sugar, no blends, just the real thing. Then, take half an avocado. Slice it. Mash it. Drizzle a little olive oil or eat it with eggs or toast. Don't overthink it. And finally, grab one ripe banana. Pair it with a spoon of nut butter, or just eat it whole. It's not a snack. It's fuel. That's it. Wine 6 ounces pomegranate juice, avocado 1/2 avocado, banana 1 banana. No rules, no pressure. Just a signal to your heart, your vessels, your hormones, your energy. A quiet message that says, we're not fading, we're rebuilding. Try it for 3 days. See how your body responds. You may notice your steps feel lighter. Your thoughts feel clearer. Your confidence slowly returning home. It's not a diet. It's not a program. It's a reconnection between you and the man your body remembers. Start tomorrow. Start simple. But start. Because the next chapter of your life doesn't begin in a doctor's office. It begins right there in your kitchen, with the first meal of your day. And I'll be right here, walking with you. Let me say something to you, not as your doctor, but as someone who's walked beside thousands of men through this very same season of life. You are not fading. You are unfolding. The world may have told you that aging is about slowing down, stepping back, shrinking quietly. But that's not what I see. Not in you. Not in the men who show up, still curious, still fighting for their life. Here's what I believe: aging isn't about becoming less. It's about becoming truer. It's a return to stillness, to strength, to simplicity, to the kind of presence that doesn't need to prove anything. And when you start fueling your body with what it truly needs, you begin to remember something you thought was gone: the steadiness in your voice, the weight in your handshake, the quiet fire in your chest when you wake up with purpose. You don't need permission to feel alive again. You just need to give your body the tools it's been waiting for. And the most beautiful part? It's not too late. Not at 60. Not at 70. Not even at 80. Your biology hasn't given up on you. It's just been waiting for your signal to rebuild, to restore, to rise. So maybe this time in life, this thing we call getting older, isn't the end of the story. Maybe it's the part where you finally come home to the strongest version of yourself. Still you. Just reawakened. If this video spoke to you, even in a small way, you're not alone. And this is just the beginning. Right finger comment, yes, if you'll try the morning plate tomorrow. Right finger comment, energy, if you've already started with one of these foods. I read every word because your story may give another man hope. If there's someone in your life who needs this, share this video with him. Sometimes, one quiet message can change everything. And if you want more real tools, honest answers, made for men like you, hit subscribe. Because we're rebuilding together. See you next time.